The Saints defense dominates Minshew mania in the Jags as New Orleans keeps rolling in Drew Brees' absence. Plus, LSU outlasts Florida to stay unbeaten as yet another opponent can't slow down Joe Burrow and the Tiger offense. And Tulane crushes UConn on its way to 5-1 on the season. A win is a win no matter how you carve it up, and the Saints aren't exactly going to win any beauty contests with what they're entering. What up? Welcome to 4th Down on 4. I'm Ricardo LeCompte. The Saints have been proving this season they don't have to have the flashy numbers offensively to win. They can be smart with the backup QB running the show, dominating on defense, and really stellar in special teams. And that formula led New Orleans to a fourth straight victory today in Jacksonville. That's where we begin tonight with Andrew Doak reporting.
In unthinkable fashion, the Saints are now 4-0 without Drew Brees, and they have their defense to thank, who is establishing themselves as one of the best in the NFL.
You know, the way our defense has been playing, I apologize. DA today, right after the game, told him, man, I'm sorry. I don't want to have to, put you in that situation. But, hats off to the defense, man. Those guys have been playing some lights out football lately.
For the third straight game, the Saints defense has held an opposing offense to less than 260 total yards. And today they allowed just 6 points and 226 total yards. A performance almost unbelievable in the current form of the league. Saints corner Marshawn Lattimore won another marquee matchup, this time limiting former LSU Tiger DJ Chark to just 43 yards receiving and 3 receptions on 7 targets, including an interception that turned into Saints points.
It's always hard to hold a team without a touchdown, and I think we was just playing fundamentally sound on all facets, from D-line linebackers and just, passing routes off and communicating, and we just got to make sure we do that all the time.
But leading the domination was their defensive line, who held another former LSU Tiger running back, Leonard Fournette, to just 72 yards rushing on 20 carries. And Saints defensive end Cam Jordan was exquisite. He smoked the Jags rookie right tackle Jawan Taylor for 2 sacks this afternoon, tying Dome Patrol legend Pat Swilling for 3rd place on the Saints' all-time list with 76.5 career sacks, one even coming on a crucial Jags 3rd and 2 inside the red zone that forced another Jacksonville field goal.
Between our defensive line and how we're always racing to quarterback, I got to lead that charge, baby. I need that.
But the biggest key defensively for the Saints on Sunday was that they wanted to keep Jags rookie quarterback Gardner Minshew bottled up. Keeping him contained was actually even more important than generating pressure, and it resulted in Minshew's worst passer rating by far of the season.
I thought we did a good job of putting the QB on the spot where we wanted him and not getting him or allowing him outside. And so, our objective was to make him play in that phone booth. He had a couple extended plays, but there weren't many.
But the Jags did a nice job of limiting Saints quarterback Teddy Bridgewater as well. Sean Payton said they were made one-dimensional in the first half when they got away from the running game. They changed that. After only 11 rush yards in the first half, Latavius Murray helped lead New Orleans to 93 yards on the ground in the second half. Less than 72 hours since he and his fiancée welcomed a baby boy into the world on Friday.
I try to bring the same energy, bring the same mentality every game, but when you just have new life coming into the world that you created, it definitely is a different feeling for sure.
But the most pivotal performance came offensively from tight end Jared Cook. On a must-have score, Teddy Bridgewater hit Cook on his second read for the game's only touchdown. Cook finished with 3 catches on the day for 37 yards, and all of them converted third downs. Nursing a 13-6 lead on 3rd and 1 and just over 3 minutes to play, the Saints needed a first down to bleed the clock. New Orleans went with a jumbo front, and Cook slipped out late to make the play that would seal it.
It felt like the ball was in the air for 20 seconds, really. It was like, it was a big play out, just to get the first down, to keep the drive moving.
And it was a win that continued to keep New Orleans streaking even without their best player. From Jacksonville, Andrew Doak, 4th Down on 4.
Now the Saints remain in first place in the NFC South after today's win, a game lead over the Carolina Panthers, who beat Tampa Bay in London to move to 4-2. The Bucs fell to 2-4, and the Falcons lost to the Cardinals to drop to 1-5. Let's head back out to Jacksonville where Andrew and a guest break down this victory.
All right, Mike Triplett joins us, who covers the Saints for ESPN. 2 out of the last 3 weeks, the Saints have won a football game where their offense scores 14 or less points. And my first indication is, what's the limit for this team when Drew Brees comes back?
Well, it's a good point. Can they continue to sort of play like they don't have Drew Brees? I mean, it's a defense that's, I think they've always embraced opportunities like this, when they have to win a game, when they're being counted on, because there are so many times when everybody says it's Drew Brees and really with Brees gone, the first time they've really had to step up. It's really impressive what we're seeing from them. Yeah, 12-10 over Dallas with no touchdowns, 13-6 over Jacksonville with only 1 touchdown scored, and across the board. I mean, this defensive line is playing lights out. Cam Jordan is somehow getting better, and that streak that we keep talking about, 32 now. Leonard Fournette, and Jacksonville tried to run the ball 20 times, and they just weren't having it. And Minshew mania, DJ Chark, I mean, across the board.
No, they wanted to run the football. There was no hiding it at all whatsoever. I thought the one thing that they did with Gardner Minshew was when he escapes the pocket, just like other dual threat quarterbacks, he can make some plays. And almost keeping him contained was more important than even logging sacks. Would you agree?
Well, he's done so good. Minshew has right out of the gates that people forget he's a rookie 6th-round pick, and credit Dennis Allen for that too. Confusion is the key. If you just blitz a rookie quarterback, he knows what to do. You throw to his hot read. You confuse him pre-snap. You show him different looks. You can make him look like made Minshew look like tonight. And I mean, they're doing it with talent. And they're doing it with scheme. And now they're getting ready to play the Chicago Bears this week. And I was asking a couple of the players, they didn't really bite. But I'm curious, even nationally, if this will be billed as 2 great defenses going against each other, or if it's the Bears defense versus the Saints team. But I think the Saints are getting close to being talked about in conversations with teams like the Bears and the way they're playing so far this season.
And potentially another quarterback backup bowl with Chase Daniel, depending on what happens with Trubisky. Last thought for you, this was kind of one of those swing games that I looked at where maybe you try to rush Drew Brees back if you lost the next couple, but you win this game. Now you're 5-1. Do you feel like that kind of gives the team more of a lease on life, or maybe at least in Drew Brees' mind that, hey, I can rest some more. We're playing pretty well.
I think Teddy Bridgewater's performance is more so than just the record. If they were looking for 70% Drew Brees as an improvement at quarterback because they were like, just dying at quarterback, maybe they'd feel a need to rush him back more so than whether they're 6-1 or 5-2 or whatever. But yeah, the fact that they can win games with defense, they can win games with their run game, and they can win games with Teddy Bridgewater, I think they can wait for Drew Brees to be 95 or 100% ready.
It's pretty unbelievable, all the different ways they're winning games. Mike Triplett for ESPN, who covers the Saints. Thanks for being with us. We'll send it back to you.
Coming up, we'll head to Baton Rouge, where LSU hung 42 on the Gators. And one player stepped up in the clutch after being picked on most of the game. Plus, we'll analyze LSU's college football playoff hopes. And later, Tulane dominated UConn on both sides of the ball this weekend at Yeoman Stadium.
Eye on the Tigers coverage is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile, the best deal in wireless.
Some national college football writers, including Stuart Mandel of The Athletic, have moved LSU to number 1 in the country after the Tigers turned it on in the second half to beat 7th-ranked Florida. And the rebuilt Tigers offense once again was unstoppable, as Doug Mouton reports from Baton Rouge.
If there was any doubt, there should not be now. After throwing up 511 yards against an elite college football defense, Joe Burrow and the Tigers' rebuilt offense is for real.
We worked so hard since January on this offense, and it's just fun to be a part of.
I mean, we just excited to have this new offense, and Joe just surprising us every week and ready to go out there and just have fun.
Fun. Wideouts Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase have developed into a great college football tandem. But the fun Saturday night in Death Valley started up front. Florida sacked LSU 5 times last year, 0 times Saturday night.
Our tackles really, those ends were really good. And you can see in games before, those ends really destroyed some offensive tackles. So I'm really proud of our offensive tackles, Sadiq Charles and Austin Douglas. I thought they played a phenomenal game.
LSU was 5-0 when they played Florida last year, too, and the Gators completely shut down the Tigers' offense. And many predicted that would happen again this year. And LSU players heard that.
I see the things people say on Twitter, saying about the offensive line, saying, we're going to get crushed or whatever, but I love that. I like looking at that, and it motivates me. And just a great feeling to know that we proved people wrong today.
Whatever they did, we made them wrong. And, that's about as flawless as an offensive line has ever played that I've ever seen.
And Joe Burrow had another Heisman-worthy performance. 24 passes, just 3 incompletions, with 3 touchdowns, and a ridiculously good 12 yards a pass, again, against an elite defense. This play is Burrow at his best. He buys time and squeezes the ball into a tiny window for a touchdown.
Joe is unbelievable. Every week he's surprising all of us.
But as flawless as Burrow and the Tiger offense was, LSU trailed by 7 in the third quarter. The Gators went after freshman cornerback Derek Stingley a lot, with success.
I talked to him when we started getting frustrated. I was like, man, be patient, be calm. Plenty of great players and went through the same thing you're going through. Everybody has them times. It's all about keeping composure and just playing the rest of the game.
He gave up some balls, and he gave up some balls. That number 84 was a tremendous football player, one of the best players we've seen all year. Give them credit, but we made the play when we had to.
That play might have been LSU's biggest play of the season. Fourth quarter, Florida down 7, but at the LSU 16, when Stingley intercepts Kyle Trask in the end zone. LSU's defense wasn't good, but they were good enough. Dave Aranda went to his cheetah package in the second half. He put more speed on the field, blitzed more, and shut the Gators down for the last quarter and a half, which was enough, because the offense averaged 10.6 yards per play, which is absurd.
We're going as hard as we possibly can every play. Now, there's going to be a time where we have to run out the clock, obviously, but we feel that we can score. We feel that we got athletes in space, and we're not going to stop.
I'm really excited about where we're going. We have a chance to be really special.
Ultimately, this team will be judged by how it plays in Tuscaloosa, but the 6-0 start definitely feels special. Reporting with the Tigers in Baton Rouge, Doug Mouton, 4th Down on 4.
And CBS announced today the LSU-Mississippi State game will be the 2:30 national TV game. That means you can see it right here on Channel 4. And it means we'll have a live 1-hour Eye on the Tigers post-game special afterwards. Let's head back to Tiger Stadium for some analysis.
All right, joined by Michael Cobblow, of course, covers the LSU Tigers for our partners at WBRZ. Michael, the 1-year difference in the LSU offense from what we saw from the 5-0 LSU team last year to the 5-0 team this year offensively, it is unbelievable, the difference in 1 year.
It's like a Volkswagen Bug to a Porsche. I mean, there's just no comparison, and then they're about as fast and slow comparatively, So it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, you look back to this game last year, and LSU struggled to move the ball offensively. And here, given limited opportunities, it seemed like they answered the bell every time.
And Joe Burrow, look, there's going to be a lot more Heisman talk after this one. His quarterback rating at 231, which if he did that the whole year, would be the best in the history of college football. Again, he's had those, and this was against another good defense. What he has done now in 2 critical games against Texas and against Florida, he has been near perfect in those 2 games.
I think it's just the maturity and the patience. That's the thing that really stands out to me, because the talent is obviously there. However, you're seeing really no one on this team panic. And I think that might be the biggest difference for this, but because the coaches aren't panicking, they're not pulling back on any of their play calling. They're getting, if anything, more aggressive. The team is kind of feeding into that. They're trusting their playmakers. I mean, they're putting the ball in Jamar Chase's hands, Justin Jefferson's hands, and make a play. Joe Burrow is obviously skilled and smart enough to do that. He's getting to all the right people.
On the other side of the ball, Derek Stingley had been near flawless before this game. Florida clearly came out with a plan to go after him. They did. with a bunch of success, but then when a play needed to be made, it was the biggest play maybe of the season so far, Stingley turns in.
It took me right back to Dallas, Cotton Bowl, and Tyrann Mathieu laying out, making an interception. It was almost the exact same, just the athletic twist of the body to get out horizontal and get the ball. I mean, again, there's a guy that has no fear, and the coaches have the confidence in him to make the play when needed.
Yeah, right. And look, you've passed 2 critical tests. Obviously, Auburn will be the next critical test, then Alabama after that, maybe some more to come after that. How has your opinion of this team sort of evolved to this point? I mean, look, I feel like at this point, they are legitimately in the national championship hunt. They've done it twice now against 2 top 10 teams. Agreed?
Absolutely. And what's even more impressive is Georgia losing takes them out of the picture. So they're not going to be that team in the East that gets in on a courtesy, even if they lose to Alabama in the SEC championship game. Now, LSU, should they fall to Alabama, I think is right in the catbird seat because they have played so well for so long this season that if they have a blemish on their mark, maybe get the benefit of the doubt down the road. As far as my perception of the team, it's just continued to impress, as they play every game. And it's because of what we've already talked about, the maturity and the patience, their understanding of who they are, who they need to get the ball to, and maybe what they need to do on defense and special teams. Hey, man, Zach Von Rosenberg had a heck of a punt when they needed it. Not a lot of punts in this game, but they had some big moments that kind of get lost.
Michael Cobblow, WBRZ, great stuff. It was a special night in what's already been a special season. Ricardo, back to you.
Still ahead, we'll focus on the Green Wave as Tulane continues its best start in more than 2 decades as they dominated UConn. Plus, defensive end Patrick Johnson joins us in studio to discuss his team's stellar performance. And Nichols remains unbeaten in the Southland, while Southeastern suffers a setback this weekend.
Chase Forcade going for the corner. Touchdown.
Nichols beat Northwestern State Saturday at John L. Guidry Stadium to win the NSU Rivalry Trophy and improve to 3-0 in Southland Conference play, its best start since 2003. The Colonels sit alone in first place as the only undefeated team in the league.
This is a free play.
Meanwhile, Southeastern dropped its 2nd straight game, losing to Incarnate Word in Hammond. Quarterback Chasen Virgil threw 4 interceptions. The Lions will drop out of the FCS Top 25 and fall to 2-2 in Southland play. Now, it's been more than 2 decades since we've seen a Tulane football team play like this. The Green Wave obliterated UConn on Saturday to improve to 5-1 on the year, the Greenies' best start to a season since 1998.
Howard is going to run that quarterback draw.
34-point favorites. Tulane hasn't seen that large of a point spread for them in 21 seasons. The Green Wave covered with ease.
McMillan lofts one for Mooney, and he's got it.
Sometimes guys look past in games, and that's when upsets occur. And, we're certainly not to a point where we can do that. I was excited by our effort, and I thought we had pretty good energy.
The energy seen all day on both sides of the ball. 634 total yards of offense on the afternoon, 311 of that on the ground for the 4th-ranked rushing team in America.
57-yard touchdown.
Quarterback Justin McMillan only needed 1 half to get his numbers. He accounted for 3 touchdowns.
What a great ball fake for Justin McMillan.
And the defense even got into the end zone. Destrehan's Macon Clark took an interception back for 6 in the 2nd quarter.
Macon Clark.
This is not the old Tulane. This isn't what people thought it was. We're not scheduled for anybody's homecomings. We're not that kind of team that just kind of gets blown over, pushed by. We're a team that needs to be recognized and respected.
And joining us now is one of the studs on that Tulane defense, junior defensive end Patrick Johnson. You guys against UConn, 234 yards allowed, gave up 7 points, had a pick 6. How would you grade the defensive performance in that game on Saturday?
Oh, I feel like we did a great job Saturday last night. I feel like we could have made a lot more improvements than what we did. We're never really satisfied as a defense. We held them to a great yardage-wise, but I feel like we could have done a lot of things better.
Almost had that shutout as well. I know you guys were probably...
we wanted it pretty bad.
For you, how would you kind of assess your first 5 games? You have 3 sacks on the year, so you have the sack numbers there. Do you feel like you're playing up to where you wanted to be when you started the season?
I was actually talking on the phone with Coach and stuff the other day. We've been talking about a lot of things, but I don't feel like I'm anywhere satisfied where I've been playing. But it's not on me. I've been getting different looks and stuff like that. I feel like I'm pushing through. But it's not all about me. It's about my team. I feel like my defensive line, the linebackers and DBs, man, we have been playing a great ball games lately, and I can be more happy for them and myself.
Your next test is going to be Memphis, and you're going to be on the road there. They're coming off a loss against Temple.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges of facing that type of system? I know the names change over the years, but the system is still the same, and it's something that's very challenging for defenses.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, with them, what we did last year, I feel like we did a great job of stopping the run. They are a run-first team. If they can get that going, they feel like they can start the passing game. So basically, you shut down the run game, and you put the ball in the quarterback's hands, and the D-line. That's what we want, try to get after them, get the sacks, and put pressure on them, make mistakes. And of course, you have our island boys, they call themselves. They take care of business back there, and they'll make some plays happen for us.
We'll see if you guys can get to 6-1. Patrick, thanks for joining us.
Thank
and
you.
The Tulane Green Wave looking for that first win at Memphis since 1998. We have more after this. And that'll do it for us. Thanks for watching. Have a great week, and we'll see you back here next Sunday night.